You don't need college to learn stuff. It is not a question of learning.
So,
Did Shakespeare even go to college? Probably not.
I always have to put this caveat in because I know people come at me otherwise. I've got kind of a funny little story about Elon Musk in relation to home education. I will tell you in a second. But the reason we are looking at him today is because one of you lovely viewers of one of my previous videos mentioned his online school, which I believe is called Astronova, because I've been looking it up this morning and I think it's this website. I will link it here and it shows you the details of how his school operates. But this commenter on one of my other videos, Mr. Simo, mentioned that it's about $100,000 per year to attend this online school. But they had been interested in doing it and then obviously probably priced out. So that sort of caught my attention again, and I thought, we all know Elon Musk, we all have our opinions on him. I don't know all that much about him on the controversial side, but I don't really know his opinions on education. And if you're new to this channel, then for context, my name is Catherine and I'm a home educating mum to 3 young children in the UK, and I'm interested, amongst other things, in different people's opinions and thoughts on the school system and then alternative education, because school is not synonymous with education in my mind. My children have never been to school and yet I believe them to be receiving a good education. So I thought, let us have a look at Elon Musk's views on education and see what I think about it. Oh yes, sorry, the little story about Elon Musk. One of my home ed mum friends, you know who you are, hello if you're watching, her husband was a little bit like on the fence about doing home education to begin with, until he saw a video, I don't know if it was this one we're going to watch, on Elon Musk talking about kind of the faults of the school system, and that is eventually what converted him to home ed, and he's now like a big proponent of it and wouldn't even like dream of sending his kids to school again, I think. So I thought that was quite a funny story and a note to all of us. If you have a partner who is on the fence about home education, maybe show them an Elon Musk video, it might work. Side note, I'm sorry if I'm looking like exhausted today. I've got cream in my coffee today, so we are going for like elite level coffee. So good, let's get on with it. And this one happens to be called Elon Musk Knocks the College Experience, which if we're watching in the UK, we have to bear in mind that college, I hope I'm getting this right, college in America is what we would refer to as university in the UK. So this is obviously like a lot older children, like adults. But I had a brief skim through and I think it does relate to like the education system as a whole. So let's see.
You don't need college to learn stuff, okay? Everything is available basically for free. You can learn anything you want for free. It is not a question of learning.
There's no lie in what he's saying there. I do agree. Like, I think obviously, and I always have to put this caveat in because I know people come at me otherwise, this is not a downer on teachers. We think teachers do an amazing job in the system in which they are enmeshed. But like, if you know how to access it and use it, and you know what style you learn best, then most of the information in the world that you could get at school or university even is accessible through the internet for free. Like, there's a lot of amazing paid resources, but there is also a lot of amazing free information if you use your critical thinking in terms of who we should be listening to.
There is a value that colleges have, which is like, you know, seeing whether can somebody work hard at something, including a bunch of sort of annoying homework assignments, and still do their homework assignments and kind of soldier through and get it done.
So that's an interesting one. So he obviously does view homework, he called it annoying homework assignments, and we've talked about homework on this channel in the past, and I believe it's unnecessary, verging on damaging to give children homework. But he also seems to sort of say there is value on being able to show that you can soldier on through mindless work, boring work, which I don't think is necessarily a healthy message that we should, like, yes, there are loads of things in life that we have to do that aren't thrilling. But I think also let's normalize, I hate that phrase, but like we do need to normalize also like work doesn't have to just be boring. Like there's a thing like, well, we've all got to work to pay the bills and none of us really like working. Like a lot of people do really like working, and if you find like work doesn't have to be boring, if you can find your thing, like you don't have to, there doesn't have to be value in like getting through a lot of boring stuff. So yeah, sort of, I do get what he's saying, but also like there's value in being able to recognise when work isn't serving us and being able to step away from it as well, I think.
You know, that's like the main value of college. And then also, you know, if you probably want to hang around with a bunch of people your own age for a while instead of going right into the workforce.
Hang around with a bunch of people. Like one of the big things in home ed that we love is that our kids don't always have to hang around with people of that exact same age. Having said this, and bearing in mind that college is our university age, like, yeah, I had a great time hanging around with my peers in university. Like that was one of my favourite, I mean, yeah, that was my favourite part of university. And I made lifelong friends there, and should they like not rush into the workplace? I don't really have an opinion either way on that. I think there's pros and cons to each side. Like, yes, we are going to be working probably for the rest of our lives, but if we find work we enjoy, that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. I did enjoy that period of time in my life, but equally it comes with like huge tuition costs. So I think we can hang out with friends in a less expensive manner.
So I think colleges are basically for fun and to prove you can do your chores, but they're not for learning.
I think colleges are for fun and to proving you can do your chores, but not for learning, he says. So that's what Elon thinks of college/university.
So I want to make sure Tesla recruiting does not have anything that says requires university, because that's absurd. But there is a requirement of evidence of exceptional ability.
I think this is really interesting because I was talking to another home ed mum friend the other day. Like every job I went for post my undergraduate, they all required a degree. Yeah, I don't think I ever really used anything I'd learned in my degree in those jobs, despite that being a requirement. And I think there was a stage where it was just an arbitrary requirement. And I know a lot of companies are coming out of that now, especially like tech companies and web design companies. Like the proof is in the pudding of what you can build and code and everything rather than a degree certificate. And it's like refreshing to hear he doesn't have that, even though you're gonna, if you're working at SpaceX or whichever one he was talking about, or Tesla, you're obviously gonna be like uber brainy. But it's like refreshing that he doesn't require a university degree for that. What was it he said? He wanted people with exceptional abilities, I think it was.
Like you just can't, if you're trying to do something exceptional, they must have evidence of exceptional ability. I don't consider going to college evidence of exceptional ability. In fact, ideally you dropped out and did something.
So Elon says ideally you dropped out of college and did something. Bold statement.
I mean, obviously, you know, we just look at like, you know, Gates is a pretty smart guy, he dropped out. Jobs, pretty smart, he dropped out. You know, Larry Ellison, smart guy, he dropped out. I'm like, obviously not needed.
So,
did Shakespeare even go to college? Probably not.
Did Shakespeare go to college? I don't know. What did you think of Elon's thoughts on education? Do you agree? Do you not agree? As ever, let's have a chat in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video.